I still remember the exact moment my stomach dropped. The exact second everything inside me twisted, like someone had reached into my chest and squeezed my heart. It was when my girlfriend stood in front of me, her voice shaky in a way that wasn't nervous but rehearsed, and said, "Babe, I accidentally used your card to book a villa, but please don't get mad. It was just a mistake. A mistake." That's what she called it. And the worst part, she didn't book it for us. She booked it for herself and her friends. A whole weekend getaway that I had absolutely no idea about until the bank sent me an alert. So let me ask you this, before anything else. If your partner spent hundreds of dollars on your card without permission, then tried to brush it off like it was nothing, would you be calm? Or would you feel as betrayed as I did? Because I swear, in that moment, I didn't know if I was supposed to laugh, cry, or walk out of the house entirely. But to understand how bad things got, I guess I need to start from the beginning. My girlfriend, let's call her Mira, was the kind of person who liked big plans, fancy places, pretty pictures, and weekends that looked perfect on Instagram. When we started dating, I honestly didn't mind any of that. I liked making her happy. I liked planning things for her. She used to tell me no one had ever cared for her the way I did, and I believed her. We had been dating for nearly a year, and I trusted her. Maybe too much. I'm the kind of guy who keeps things simple. I work hard, pay my bills, save quietly, and try not to make drama where there doesn't need to be any. But Mira was different. She lived in a world of constant motion, where every week had to be louder, brighter, better than the last. A few weeks before all this happened, I started noticing little things. She kept asking me for my card, just for a second, to pay for something small because she forgot her wallet. Sometimes it was coffee, sometimes gas, sometimes a quick online order she said she'd return later. I didn't think too much of it. I trusted her. I kept telling myself it was no big deal, but each time, something inside me felt like a tiny thread was loosening. And eventually, those threads all snapped at once. The day this whole villa drama started, I was at work. My phone buzzed with a notification from my bank. $742.93 spent at Seaview Grand Villas. For a second, I honestly thought it was fraud. I froze. I reread the message over and over again, like my eyes were lying to me. Then I called Mira. No answer. I texted her. No reply. Hours later, when she finally walked into my house, smiling like everything in the world was perfect, I showed her the bank alert. Her face went pale for half a second, but then she changed it into this fake little smile and said, "Baby, I accidentally used your card." Accidentally. Do you know what kind of accident requires typing numbers, confirming payment, receiving an email, and then planning a whole trip with your friends in a private WhatsApp group I wasn't part of? And she expected me to believe it. She didn't even apologize properly. She just kept saying, "Don't overreact. My friends already made plans. We already told everyone. You're being dramatic. Dramatic." That word still burns. I asked her why she didn't tell me. She shrugged, literally shrugged, like she borrowed my pen, not my money. Then she said something that turned my confusion into pure anger. "You're my boyfriend. What's yours is kinda mine too, right? And it's not like you're broke." I stared at her, speechless. Not because I didn't have words, but because I had too many, and none of them would have come out calm. She tried to justify it by saying she had planned a girls' trip for weeks. She claimed she was stressed. She needed a break. She deserved a weekend away. And the worst part? She said she didn't tell me because she knew I'd say no, as if going behind my back made it better. So there I was, standing in my living room, feeling like the world I had built with her was suddenly tilted sideways. And that brings me to the moment where everything shifted inside me. She looked at me like I was the unreasonable one, like she was the victim, like I had ruined her big weekend getaway. by simply finding out the truth. That's when I realized something. This wasn't about money. It was about respect, about honesty, about trust. And she had blown all three into dust. Now pause for a second, because before I tell you what happened next, I want you to picture this. Someone you love, someone you trust, uses your money, lies about it, hides it, then blames you for reacting. So tell me honestly, what would you do if you were in my place? Would you forgive them? Would you still let them go on that trip? Would you swallow your anger just to keep things peaceful? Take a second and drop your answer in the comments. Because the next part, well, it gets messy. When I finally spoke, my voice was calm in a way that scared even me. I told her she had one option: cancel the villa and refund my money. She rolled her eyes and said, "We can't cancel it now. Everyone is counting on me." I told her I didn't care. I wasn't funding a vacation I wasn't even invited to. She kept insisting I was being controlling. She said all boyfriends pay for things. She said I should act like a man. That last part hit me like a slap. I asked her what she meant by act like a man, and she said, real men don't complain about money. At that point, something inside me just clicked off. I walked to my laptop, opened my bank app, and froze the card she used. Then I called the villa management myself. I explained it was unauthorized use. They weren't happy, but they processed the cancellation. A small fee got deducted, but I got most of the money back. When Mira realized what I did, she exploded. She shouted, cursed, threw her bag on the couch, and said I embarrassed her in front of her friends. Then she said something that sealed the ending of our relationship. You're useless. You can't even support your girlfriend for one weekend. I took a deep breath, looked her straight in the eyes, and said, I'm not supporting someone who steals from me. She froze, completely silent. Then she grabbed her phone, stomped toward the door, and said, we're done. I didn't stop her. I didn't chase her. I didn't say a single word. I just watched her leave, the same way someone watches a storm move away after it destroys everything in its path. The aftermath? Her friends texted me, calling me cheap, controlling, heartless. One of them even said Mira had been complaining for months that I wasn't fun enough or rich enough. I blocked them all. Days later, Mira sent me a long message saying she didn't mean anything. She said she was angry. She wished I'd handled it differently. She wanted to talk. I didn't reply, because you can't build a future with someone who treats your kindness like a debit card. Looking back now, I feel strangely calm. Losing her didn't feel like losing anything important. It felt like removing a rock from my shoe that had been hurting me for months without me realizing it. She taught me something though. Love without boundaries becomes a cage, and trust without honesty becomes a joke. So if you were on my side in this whole mess, hit that like button. If you've ever been with someone who took advantage of your kindness, you probably know exactly how I felt. Make sure to subscribe for more stories like this. And tell me in the comments what you think about everything that happened. Did I overreact, or was I finally standing up for myself? I'll see you all in the next story.